It's 9 p.m. Polls are closed in New York and New Jersey. In the Garden State, Democrat Mikey Sherrill and Republican Jack Ciattarelli neck and neck, hoping to be the state's next governor. Then there's the race for New York City mayor. Right now, Zohran Mamdani, Andrew Cuomo, and Curtis Sliwa are awaiting the results amid huge turnout. Live team coverage from both sides of the Hudson starts right now.
This is a Fox 5 election update.
Good evening, I'm Steve Lacey. Welcome to Fox 5's Election Night coverage. We're going to get right to it, but first, we start with a programming note. Tonight's episode of Doc will be on after our election coverage. You can also watch it streaming on Hulu tomorrow. Well, we've got all your major races covered, including the race for New Jersey governor and the New York City mayor's race. Keep your eyes on the bottom of the screen where you will see results live as they come into us. Let's get you caught up first in New Jersey, where polls closed at 8 p.m. tonight. Take a look at the latest numbers. Democrat Mikey Sherrill going up against Republican Jack Ciattarelli. So far, it's been all Mikey Sherrill tonight. These are the latest numbers: 57% for Sherrill, 43% for Jack Ciattarelli. That is with 38% of the votes in so far. We're going to have live reports coming up from the candidates' headquarters in just a few minutes. But first, let's bring you up to date on the race for New York City mayor. The polls in New York just closed at 9. The hotly contested race for mayor getting lots of attention from all over the country and globe. And this just in, the New York City Board of Elections saying 2 million votes have been cast. That's the first time that's happened since 1969. The three-way race pitting Zohran Mamdani against Andrew Cuomo and Curtis Sliwa. The city seeing record early voter turnout, more than 735,000 ballots cast in the 9 days of early voting. We have a team of reporters covering all the candidates. Linda Schmidt is with the Cuomo campaign in Midtown. Kendall Green is at the Sliwa headquarters on the Upper West Side. But we're going to begin with Morgan Mackay at Mamdani headquarters in Brooklyn. Morgan, paint the picture there. What's the mood there right now?
Hey, Steve. So they just opened doors for Zohran Mamdani's headquarters here at the Brooklyn Paramount. As you can see, a lot of the people behind me, it's actually just media. As you know, this race has gotten national attention, but we are starting to see some supporters starting to trickle in. A lot of energy here tonight. People really excited to see just what's next in this election. I feel like this election has been going on since really this last year, the end of last year. It has been going on throughout this entire year, and so a lot of people just really excited tonight. This is a stage where Mamdani is going to be speaking a little bit later, whether it be a victory speech or a concession speech. Hey, Steve. I guess they were saying that they were going to ask me some questions,
oh, yeah.
Steve, but
well, Morgan,
I guess I will keep talking now, but no worries.
If you can hear me right, can you hear me, Morgan, right now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Walk us through the significance of him potentially celebrating tonight in Brooklyn. We saw him celebrate his primary win in Queens, where, of course, he's an assembly member. What's the significance of Brooklyn in his mind to this race?
So he's just really excited to be here. He's really made an effort to go out to all 5 boroughs throughout this campaign. He held his primary night in Queens when it came to a rooftop bar. He was there, and in the background you saw Ed Koch Bridge, and it had a lot of significance for him. He's a huge fan of Mayor Ed Koch. He's a huge fan of Mayor LaGuardia. He's here tonight because this really represents to him a moment of change, a moment of hope. Now this capacity, this venue holds around 2,700 people, and we were a little surprised talking about that to actually his campaign. If you'll remember, he held a rally with 10,000 supporters. Now we're expecting likely at least to fit this capacity tonight, 2,700. You're going to have quite a few hundred supporters here tonight, reporters here, and then you're going to have, I'm guessing, over 1,000 supporters here for him tonight.
Yeah, the world is watching, no doubt about it. All right, Morgan, we're going to check back in with you in a little bit. We appreciate it. Let's go right now to Linda Schmidt. She's in Midtown at the Andrew Cuomo election night event. Linda, same question to you. Paint us the scene there. What's the mood like at Cuomo headquarters?
Yeah, hi there, Steve. Well, so far, no fireworks or anything like that going on here at his campaign headquarters, but the room is starting to fill up with supporters. So that is a big change from the last time that I spoke with you guys. But, you know, you talk about New York City, the Board of Elections posting on X that we have reached 2 million voters. That is the first time since 1969. So that speaks volumes about the interest that New York City residents have had in this mayor's race. And earlier today, when Andrew Cuomo voted, he came out and there was a press gaggle afterward, and he had said that he felt inspired and he felt that it was a good sign that there was high voter turnout. He also talked about this being the most important election of his lifetime because it could determine the future of the Democratic Party. Now, I don't know if you're looking at the video yet, but if it has not been rolling, go ahead and look at it now, because this is him when he was arriving to vote at 10 o'clock this morning at a high school here in Midtown. He was with his 2 daughters and one of his son-in-laws, and he talked about, you know, that he felt good about, like I said, good about the fact that that there was a large voter turnout. But the thing that we do have to point out here, though, is that when he lost the primary back in June to Mamdani by 13 points, he said he had made a huge mistake by not having boots on the ground, by not meeting voters where they were, meaning he was not out on the streets with them, going into the bodegas, talking to cab drivers, going into mom and pop shops, the way that Mamdani had done. And he said that he was going to change his style, but he did not really change the style until about 2 weeks ago. Now, yesterday, he had a very busy day. He was on the Upper West Side. He was at a radio station. He was in the Bronx, Washington Heights. He was in Chinatown at a senior center and also a senior center in Flatbush, Brooklyn. He was also on Staten Island. But again, these events in the past 2 weeks, they were always organized small events. They were not the type of get out hand in hand where Mamdani would be walking down city streets. That's not what Cuomo had been doing. Is that going to end up hurting him? We're going to have to wait and see. But as of right now, the mood here, much better than what it was 45 minutes ago. But again, we're going to have to wait and see.
Very well. We appreciate it. All right, Linda Schmidt, thanks so much. Curtis Sliwa hosting his election night event on the Upper West Side. That's where we find Kendall Green. Kendall, paint the picture. What's the mood there right now?
Hey, what's going on, Steve? This isn't a large venue, but within the last maybe 20 minutes or so, it seems like this place just got packed very quickly, and I can see a bunch of the supporters of Curtis Sliwa. They're starting to watch the screens as those numbers start coming in. Some of them are saying that he's a little bit lower in the poll so far as those results come in, but we actually had our cameras rolling while he was out on the campaign trail on the final moments, and we've got the video of the Republican nominee making his final push for voters there in Middle Village, Queens. He'll certainly have to shift some voters in the Assembly member Zohran Mamdani's backyard in order to walk away victorious. Now, Sliwa, he was at the podium speaking, making sure that his stance is clear as a Republican candidate, so there's nothing left on the table tonight. But in those polls, the founder of the Guardian Angels has been averaging in the teens, and right now we see is a little bit lower than that. The Republican nominee is seen by at least his opponent as a spoiler in the race, specifically former Governor Andrew Cuomo. Now, by now, you're aware of one of the biggest headlines this week where President Trump's backhanded endorsement of Cuomo. Sliwa, he's used it as a jab at the former governor, saying that he's embracing President Trump's endorsement one moment while shunning it on the next. So whether pointing out that difference between Andrew Cuomo and himself is going to turn into voters, we'll have to see in just a few moments. But that's the latest here on the Upper West Side. Kendall Green, Fox 5 News. Steve?
Kendall, we appreciate it. Thank you. All right now let's get a little more perspective on the race for mayor. Joining me here in studio, Brian Brown, a political science professor at St. John's University. Brian, thanks so much for being with us. What's your impression of what we're seeing right now? Massive turnout tonight.
It's great for democracy. It makes my job harder trying to figure out what these voters are thinking as they go to the polls. But the idea that we have this unprecedented turnout is a good thing for New York City and a good thing for democracy.
Right. Given your experience, what is your inclination to pull from these early results, given the amount of turnout we've seen? Does that help Cuomo? Does that help Mamdani? Is this some sort of massive realignment change election potentially taking shape or something different?
I think it could be something different. I mean, it's a three-way race, you know, so it's hard to figure figure out right now. Is it, people pro-Zoran coming out who are energized by an effective campaign he ran, or is it anti-Zoran, who are coming out to vote against him? Whatever the reason is, it's a good thing. And it's one of the reasons, I think, why we should keep these local elections local and not mix them up with the presidential elections.
The ballot question 6 you're talking about. No, it does seem to be a ringing endorsement for keeping them separate from the presidential race so we can really give it our full focus, which we have. Let's talk about the tactics in the race. We've seen for weeks and months now Andrew Cuomo trying to get Curtis Sliwa to drop out. He refused. He didn't do it. He lost his radio job. He went the distance there. How much of a difference do you think it could have made had he done that? Are we overstating the importance of that? What's your general impression, given the fact that they're all still on the ballot anyway because no one dropped out in time to get their name off the ballot?
Eric Adams is still on the ballot as well. I think a two-person race would have been something interesting and fun to watch, and it might have been much closer. But again, we'll see when the votes are counted. But look, Curtis was the Republican candidate from the get-go. Andrew Cuomo lost his primary. There was no reason for Curtis to drop out. And, he resisted a lot of pressure, it seems, to stay in the race, and we'll see what the end result is.
Yeah, it is so fascinating to get back to Mayor Adams. He is the mayor right now as we speak, one term only, lost the primary, eventually dropped out and endorsed Cuomo. I think it's worthwhile to sort of discuss just how fascinating it is we got to this place where the current mayor isn't also ran in the whole thing.
Absolutely, and he's really been quiet the last final days of this campaign. The fact that you have a former governor running for mayor in a very tight race, it's just an unconventional election. So that's why I'm not sure if this great voter turnout we're seeing, does it have sustainability, or is it a one-off because of this uniqueness of this election? Yeah,
it is certainly a fascinating election, no doubt about it. All right, Brian Brown, we appreciate you joining us from St. John's University. The polls are now closed, so we could be getting results anytime now. It'll be fascinating to see. We've been watching this race an awful long time. We appreciate it. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
All right, we are getting our first results in the New York City mayor's race. Here are the latest numbers. Zoran Mamdani in the lead with 51% of the vote. Andrew Cuomo has 40%. Curtis Sliwa has 8%. So you see, those are the first numbers we're getting 12 minutes after polls closed. Those are in line with what we've seen so far in connection to this three-way race. Mamdani up by about 11 points. Sliwa a little bit lower maybe than anticipated. But nevertheless, Zoran Mamdani with a strong lead right now with 38% of the votes in as we continue to monitor the race for New York City mayor being watched throughout the country and indeed the world. All right, our election night coverage just getting started. Up next, we're going to head to New Jersey for the latest on the race for governor. The polls have closed there. They closed at 8. We're going to take a look at the numbers, and Nick has a look at the forecast. Hey, Nick.
Hi, Steve. Our forecast rather chilly tonight as the wind has gone very light and the sky is mainly clear. But that wind is going to come back tomorrow, and it's going to be rather ferocious at times later in the day into tomorrow night. I'll tell you about it when our coverage continues.